the most important thing is that the leaders take full responsibility for the political process to avoid the worst-case scenario, which means uncontrollable, chaotic Brexit.
European Council President Donald Tusk calling for governmental and financial leaders to come up with a solution to prevent Greece from defaulting. Greece has to make a 1.6 billion euro repayment to the International Monetary Fund by June 30th or be declared in default. Meantime, the financial trouble seems to be pushing Greece closer to Russia. Both countries have reportedly negotiated plans for a gas pipeline that will reach from Russia into Greece. That deal could help bail out the Greeks, but many people are skeptical of that endeavor. Joining us now, the former chairman of the House Select Committee on Intelligence, Pete Hoekstra. Pete, we thank you for your time as you check in once again from Newsmax, Washington. And I just have to ask you this. What does this opportunity with Russia portend for Greece, and what will it mean to the rest of the world?
Well, I think, JD, this is a continuation of some fairly smart moves by Putin. You know, he sees an opportunity to create a crack and a rift within the European Union by the problems that Greece is experiencing, and by having Russia come in on a white horse and kind of help Greece out, building a relationship with Greece, between Russia, alienating Greece from the rest of Europe. It's a smart move on Putin's part, and it's no different than what he's been doing in other places where people sense a vacuum of Western European or American leadership. Take a look at what he's been doing in Egypt what he's been doing in Egypt for the last number of months. Now,
there's perhaps another partner involved in this in terms of currency and what's going on. And I think back a while back, Pete, Russia and China put together a big energy financial deal. Might China be a powerful third member of working out this situation with Greece, especially with currency in the days ahead?
They very well could be. I mean, China has its own global aspirations, what it's doing in the South China Sea, the investments that it's making throughout the Middle East, the investments that it's making throughout Africa. You know, we talk about the sole superpower left in the world, the United States. That is not real. From an economic standpoint, China is a powerhouse, and you can't discount what Russia is doing. Both of these countries are doing everything that they can to challenge American global leadership, and they're doing it in a very, very smart way.
Pete, let's move from money and financing and energy as weapons in terms of realpolitik to some real weapons, and that is the fact that we are hearing Russia is working on an anti-drone microwave weapon. That weapon would have the capability to disable the radio electronics in drones and precision warheads, causing them to lose control. Is this just a response to the U.S. And our microwave weapon known as CHAMP?
Well, I think there's two very different things. CHAMP goes in and can be used by a plane or whatever, and can take out the electronics in an entire building. The technology may be somewhat similar, but it's smaller in scale, and it's targeted specifically at drone capabilities. I think it's a very smart weapon for a country to develop. Drones, they're hard to knock down. I remember when we were flying drones over Iraq, and Saddam Hussein used to try to shoot them down with fighters and with airplanes. And the thing with the drone is they can fly so slow, it's hard for a jet fighter to knock it down. And you have a weapon like this, you target it into the sky and take away the electronics out of a drone, take away its cameras and those types of things, but most importantly, take away its operating system. It's a smart weapon to have.
Before we go, got to talk about Iran and the possibilities of nukes and still that deal that's floating out there. A fatwa put out by the Ayatollah has turned a key Western demand about Tehran fully disclosing its past research into nuclear bomb technology, turned all that into a potential deal breaker. What are you hearing? Is there anything now with the fatwa, with all the discussion coming from Iran, that will give our president pause on the deal? 20 seconds.
I'm not sure that there's going to be anything that will give this president pause. You know, the Ayatollahs come out very clear that, you know, they don't want us to look at their military bases, a number of other things. They don't want to expose what they've done in the past. These are things that you want to know if you're going to have an effective agreement.
So much for transparency. But, Pete, we always thank you for your transparent analysis of what is going on in terms of intelligence and global politics. Thanks for your time. You heard what Pete had to say. Now we want to hear from you. Send your comments to me via email, Facebook, Twitter, or newsmaxtv.com/comments.